Well, you're back here again to come and see more hapless exploits from me in the Retrotech 120p challenge. The 20p challenge is this: you get as many practice runs as you can swallow. But as soon as you press record, that is your run, my friend. Once that record is finished, once your go is done, those 2 credits used up and thrown on the floor, then it is time for you to rise up to your challenge, post that video into the group and say, this is what I am, this is who I will become, the champion of your hearts, and probably lose. And then you'll get to help select the game for next week, perhaps. And there's so many games that we haven't picked yet, so it's well worth doing. You may well find a game that you're really good at that you can then beat everyone else at. Isn't that good? That would be brilliant, wouldn't it? If you could, just find a game that hasn't been picked yet, that you know about, and then you've almost got that win in the bag until someone comes along in the last minute and usurps you and makes you feel bad. It's ended up being, yes, as I say, my selection, which is Outfoxies. A game I've done a video on. I was so impressed with it when I found it a few years ago. Never played it in the arcade. None of us played at home because it never got converted anywhere. It's Namco's 1994 or 5, I think it's 4 effort, where it's basically a proto version of Super Smash Brothers, in the fact that you are put on a stage, big old sprawling stage. You can run anywhere on this stage. You can pick up guns and you can shoot each other. And the idea is you get that energy bar down to 0 by either punching, kicking, or using any of the 307 or so weapons or destructible bits of scenery in the game. There you go. See, this level's incredible, by the way. This one, you just noticed a helicopter falling on me. That was at the top of the stage at the beginning of the game, and there's like bombs set up all through the stages and things, and environmental dangers that can cause you all kinds of peril. Other people's route through the game will be different. There's all sorts of levels set on like yachts and aeroplanes and trains and what have you. People might get further than me, I think, on this. It's one of those that although a lot of it is down to skill, a lot of it is down to knowing what you're doing, where you're going, what weapons to use and when. A lot of it is also down a little bit to luck, because you might land next to a flamethrower, you might get a sword appear next to you, or you might just get like a pistol. It's the best weapon, I think, for me, is probably the rocket launcher, because much like Worms, you just hit it and it usually ends up causing some damage. But yeah, really great game. Absolute tragedy that it never ended up on any of the home systems at all. Would have been a perfect game for the first year of the PlayStation. No reason why the PlayStation couldn't run this. Hell, you could do a stripped down version of this on the Super Nintendo probably, but, well, you'd have to make the stages a bit shorter, but you can do all the zoom in and out crap, couldn't it? I don't know, maybe it wouldn't be able to run it at all. Maybe not at all on the Mega Drive either. Yeah, massive shame. As a Saturn game, a PlayStation game, it would have been great. Doesn't get the credit it deserves. That's why I made that video about it, which you can see probably at the end of the video. I'll put a link to that, where I talk a bit more in depth about it. As you can see, I'm playing a orangutan called Dweeb. I always think like orangutans look a bit like Dennis Waterman. No offence, Dennis. Thank you for killing Dracula in that film, and thank you for looking after old Arthur Daly. But yeah, so naturally, obviously, with the Genital Fact of the week, we're going to have to talk about animals. And that animal obviously being, from the title, a fox. There's no foxes in the game as far as I'm aware. It's all about obviously outfoxing your opponent in this, which is where it gets its name from. But yeah, let's talk about foxes and their lovely reproductive cycle. And you know what, they're actually pretty charming in terms of kind of how they get together. They're not that different from us. So fox courtship usually involves several males following the one female fox, who ultimately decides who she wants to bring up her kits, which kits obviously being the younger foxes, the baby foxes there. She might well have intercourse with a number of foxes, but there will be that one special fox she meets, who she knows is going to raid that I don't know, chicken hutch, and bring home the well, I was going to say bacon, but the chicken legs, for her to keep her kids entertained, and more power to her. So yeah, that's fox courtship. But once they actually engage in the act, foxes will mate, and the noise you hear that no one explained to you as a kid, and also got a ridiculous and annoying novelty song about the noises they made. I think you'll remember that. What does the fox say? Beep, beep, beep. I don't know. It was a horrible song. But a very good point in the fact that you're never taught what noises foxes make as a child. And so you hear a noise outside of what you usually think is someone being horribly maimed or raped. It's horrible. I give you like all the dog noises, and I know what noise a dog makes. I've been in the presence of a dog or a cat when they've made a noise. Tell me what that horrible noise is at night, please. But that noise they make is, yes, it is their copulation. They're very noisy and can go on for 20 minutes. And they do make like making a right old din, like that girl you met in Magaluf when you were 23. So much like other canid species, being like the wolf and the dog, they can fall victim to a copulatory tie. Now, what that is where the dog or fox in this case will end up getting stuck in their sexual positions for up to an hour. Which I guess explains why they end up mating for life, because obviously if your genitals are stuck in the genitals of someone you've just had sex with, you've got to bring up a bit of conversation. Maybe you find out you get on, you've got a bit of camaraderie there. Maybe you talk about your hopes and dreams and end up mating for life with the person you're stuck inside for an hour. It's all like being stuck in a lift, but a bit more naked and with part of you inside someone else. Really good example, that, isn't it? So yeah, what kind of game is it where you're playing a really good game when you're an orangutan in a tuxedo fighting with a businesswoman in a building on top of a whale while surrounded by sharks? I think we can all agree that this game is terrific. And it's unique as well. That's another reason why I like this game. It's incredibly unique, and they really. I'd love to have seen a sequel. I'd love to see a reboot of this done. Because I think we all love like Smash Brothers and stuff like that. But this is great. This is bloody great, and why it's never kind of first credit down, by the way. Don't worry, the second one doesn't last long, so I won't be waffling on forever. Why they never made a sequel to this, they never made a sequel to it because no one played it, I guess. Obviously coming out at a time when 1995, so eyes are drawn to either your 15 millionth Street Fighter 2 clone, or more likely one of the numerous 3D games that were appearing on the scene, like Virtua Fighter, or Tekken, or like one of the Ridge Racers Daytonas. One of those. No one had time for what was ostensibly a 2D game at that point, even if it features orangutans in tuxedos and a Cyndi Lauper clone wearing a gecko on her shoulder, as I'm controlling now. But yeah, it is good. This I'd love to see it as a an Xbox Live or a PlayStation Network or a Switch game. A Switch game would be perfect. Just like have this as a budget title, Namco. Come on, just stick it out. Just stick it out at a budget price. People will love you for it. Or imagine like a new version in 3D. Terrific, wouldn't it? Yeah, it's great. But yeah, really good. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the other runs. I'm really looking forward, mainly with this game, for other people to see it and to play it, because in my opinion it's one of the massively overlooked games of all time. It's terrific. I know of a few other, YouTubers that have played this and that love it, and I sort of found this on my own, where you sort of go through like your main list and find a game. This was one of them for me. It was like, Outfoxies, what's this about? And I booted it up and it was this. But yeah, that's the end of my go. Cyndi Lauper is being turned off now by the businesswoman, and that's the end of that. But what I will say is, please have a look at some of the other runs. I expect some people will get a little bit further than that. I expect some people won't get quite as far as that. But it's an interesting game to watch, and I think because there are so many different ways you can play this, it will be interesting to see how people do. And each video will look significantly different and probably be a bit more interesting than the Tetris videos last week. But yeah, thank you for watching. Please come back again, and Kay, thanks and bye.